You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday, happy Mercury Day, and most importantly, happy International Women's Day. I love on a day like today when the astrology forecast fits perfectly for this holiday, if you will, that we're all honoring and celebrating all people around the world, honoring International Women's Day. So to my followers who are women, I celebrate you today. And even if you don't identify as a woman, I think we can all tap into our divine feminine energy and honor the women who made it possible for us to be here. Yes, International Women's Day. And it also happens to be Freddie Prinze Jr.'s birthday. Kat Von D, born on International Women's Day. Milana, I won't even try to say her last name, but I think she's the girl in like all the AT&T commercials. Anyone else? James Vanderbeek, celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday. Oh, Lester Holt, also born on International Women's Day. If it's your birthday, if you know someone who's celebrating, let us know so we can send them some love too. But all of the women, we are celebrating today. So grateful to have each and every one of you here. Diane is here. Rachel is here. Hello to you, Nick. Hi, Rose. Hey, Nikki. Hi, Corby. All right, so we're going to get straight into it because I'm going to be honest with you all, I don't have a ton of time with you today. So we're just going to dive right into the current energy. The sun is in Pisces. The moon is now in Libra. And now that the moon is in Libra, we're kind of finding that internal balance again after the full moon. But I also think it's interesting that the sun in Pisces and the moon in Libra form an imbalanced angle or an inconjunct angle to each other. So it might feel like you're kind of trying to balance the internal emotions that came up with your external expression today. You might not be fully feeling the ability to channel the internal with the external. And that's okay because the Libra moon gives us that permission to kind of feel it out, to bounce things off other people. So we'll get into that in a moment. But what I'm most excited about is this T-square between Lilith and the North and South nodes. I don't think this will actually show up on our chart because for whatever reason, AstroSeek doesn't show aspects to the North and South nodes, but Lilith is here at 6 degrees of Leo, and the North and South nodes are at 6 degrees of Taurus and Scorpio, respectively. So noticing if you have any placements right around 5 to even 10 degrees of fixed signs, that's really going to be activated. And this is actually a T-square that we have been feeling subtly in the background since March 3rd. Because Lilith doesn't move very quickly, because the North and South nodes don't move very quickly, we are feeling this T-square within a degree until March 14th. There's just been so much else going on astrologically that we really haven't been focusing on what's happening with Lilith. But if you're watching this and you're like, okay, I've never heard of Lilith, I don't know what a North node is. These actually aren't planets. So again, why there hasn't been such an emphasis on them in our forecasts leading up to this point. But this is the only aspect we're feeling today. And again, it is so perfect for International Women's Day. So just a little background, if you're not familiar, Lilith is the Lilith, for whatever reason, Lilith is just, it always catches me. It's a tongue twister. The Lilith we are following is the Black Moon. And so Black Moon Lilith is actually a point along the moon's orbit farthest from Earth. So, you can kind of think of it this way. If you track the moon, you might have noticed the full moon didn't look very big. The past two full moons, the full moon in Virgo and the full moon in Leo, because it was farthest from Earth, very close to Lilith. So that's kind of how we can work with Lilith in terms of what we're seeing with our actual eyeballs. But in astrology, Lilith is somewhat linked to the biblical story of Lilith. And basically, it's believed that God created Adam and Lilith as man and wife, as man and woman, as equals. And Lilith refused to submit to Adam. Like, there's literally a story that she refused to be on bottom. So she was cast out, and for many thousands of years, the Catholic Christian church kind of gave Lilith this connotation that she was like a whore or a bad girl. And the story goes that Eve was created out of Adam's rib. We know how that went. So I love that astrology has helped us reclaim Lilith as the dark feminine. And in our natal charts, Lilith can represent the part of us that's been hiding in the shadows. Again, thinking of the moon, the farthest from Earth, kind of in the shadows out there. So the parts of us that we have been repressing or that have been repressed by others. And when we realize what's been repressed, Lilith can help us reclaim our power and rise up. And sometimes that expression comes out as hostile or very fiery or bold, even angry. Lilith is definitely linked to our sacred rage. So Lilith gets the nickname of our inner bitch because how she's expressed can be very hostile, especially with Lilith in the fiery sign of Leo. So we're feeling this. Lilith has been in Leo since January. She'll be there until, I believe, August or September. Heard that Lilith was the mother to demons. At least that's what the church demonized her to be. So many stories around Lilith, right? But for our purposes here, we can acknowledge that Lilith was this being, this goddess, this mythological creature, this biblical character that said no, like, I want to be in control. I want to be in charge. So our Lilith personally can be activated when we feel out of control, when we feel like someone is trying to repress us. And this doesn't just go for women. This goes for all beings. We all have that feminine, masculine energy. So if maybe your feminine energy, your creativity, your ability to stand up for yourself is being repressed, sometimes that can spark that sacred rage. So we've talked about Lilith. The north and south nodes are also associated with the moon. So this transit does feel very emotional because it's so linked to the moon. The north and south nodes are the points along the moon's axis that represent our future and our past, our direction and our destiny, and what we're here to leave behind. So in our personal charts, our north node is what we're here to embody, what we're here to become more and more like, and our south node might represent a past life or what we've already mastered in this lifetime. Collectively, when we work with transit astrology, the north and south nodes represent our future and our past. When we have transits and connections to the north and south node, these mark fated moments. So now that we have a background here of the north and south node and Lilith, let's talk about this T-square between Lilith and the north and south nodes. Specifically a T-square with the north and south nodes because Lilith, oh gosh, we're going to have a leaf blower in the background. So I'll just move the mic a little closer. Just right there. It's just, we're not going to let Lilith take over right now, okay? Yes, Lilith is a boss bitch. What a queen. Yes, exactly. So when we have a T-square to the north and south nodes like we do today, Lilith is in the very center, and it marks this turning point as we're moving, in this case, actually away from the north node and towards the south node. But either way, we're situated right in the middle, and Lilith becomes the emphasis. I, again, love this on International Women's Day because just on a basic level, this transit can mark a turning point for the divine feminine, a turning point for women's empowerment. But we have a T-square, which is the most tense aspect we experience in astrology. And a square, especially a T-square, when we have two squares playing out at the same time, can bring up anger, irritation, aggression, activation, right? And so noticing if you're irritated, noticing if that internal Lilith wants to rise up and your inner bitch wants to come out. And instead of just letting the emotions happen to you, going a little deeper and asking, is my anger justified? Is my anger sacred? Is this a rage that's been living in me, not just in my body, but in the women before me? Allowing that activation, that heat, that fire that might come up during this transit to push you in the direction of your highest calling. And it might not just be today. This might be something that's been rumbling over the past couple days and even into the next week or so. So this is a reminder that oftentimes anger leads to innovation. Anger leads to advancement if it is fueled productively or channeled productively, right? And Lilith in Leo does feel like this opportunity to boldly express our power and be very open and almost in your face about it, remembering it doesn't have to be hostile to be powerful. I'm not bossy, I'm the boss comes to mind with Lilith and Leo. So how can you exert your boss bitch power like Rose was saying, she's a boss bitch, without overpowering the people around you? How can you tap into that divine feminine energy that knows her worth and expresses her sensuality and her sexuality fully? This doesn't just go for women, that seductress, that siren, that goddess version of yourself. How can you own that power and channel that into a place that leads to not just your advancement, but the advancement of all beings? And part of the ascension or advancement or collective evolution we're going through is finding that balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And we've been in this period, it feels like to me at least, where the divine feminine is risen. She has been rising. Women around the world are waking up to spirituality and their power. And there's these communities of women growing all around the world. And I think, this could also be a turning point for the divine masculine too, if he opens up to the power of what's been going on with the feminine. Like, wow, look at all these women coming together. Look at all these women expressing their power and acknowledging their divine feminine energy. As a masculine, if you're watching this, how can I find my own power in my own way and express divine masculine energy and bring other men and brothers and masculines along with me? So it just feels like such a powerful day for women around the world to be all tapped into this Lilith collective energy, and like all of the women to just rise up together. It feels like a fated moment. I love it. Yeah, Katie says, this full moon helped me release a lot. Beautiful. And it felt easy. Yes, it doesn't have to be hard. I'm reveling in this. Lilith is pushing me to be truthful, like a responsible truth, if that makes sense, instead of people pleasing. Yes, owning your power, owning your worth. This feels like such an empowering day to be like, no, this is how I feel. And this is my expression. And remember, it doesn't have to be mean. It doesn't have to be bitchy or bossy. It can just be what it is. It's like, I don't want to be so like women against men here, but think about how like men email in a business setting versus women. We're all like, hey, hope this is okay, but, and men are like, hey, I attached this, period, moving on. Maybe there's some like kind words, but it's just that authority that comes with, that I think is more natural to a lot of men because men have just been in power for so long. That's just a fact, for centuries and centuries. So stepping into that authority and that power and knowing our worth and not having to people please and just being like, this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm offering. This is what I have to share. And I'm not going to hold it back anymore. Like, I am powerful. Yes, rage on a page would be good for venting some anger. And even, if you're feeling irritation come up, that is definitely a possibility with the forecast. Anger coming up, hostility, frustration. But with the square to the north and south node, it's like whatever is coming up is here to push you along the right path. So rage on a page could be a great exercise, or just journaling the things that are triggering you to be like, where is this coming from? Let's go a little deeper. What is hiding in the shadows? Lilith is signaling to me something is down there that's being repressed. Yeah, no second guessing, just saying my opinion without pushing it on others. Yeah, this is how I feel, period. Period. No need to overly explain or sugarcoat it. Being mindful, but also acknowledging that you are worthy of just expressing yourself however feels authentic to you. Yeah, Corby's feeling that rage on the page energy too. Diane says, my natal Lilith is in Leo, so I have felt lately as if I'm making myself clearer to people. They're finally hearing me and understanding why my upsets are valid and taking me seriously instead of brushing concerns off. Yeah, coming into your power. I love that. Reclaiming of the power seems to be in the air. And there's something, again, so powerful regardless of what's going on in the stars, but it just adds to this energy of millions of women around the world, even just posting to Instagram, Happy International Women's Day, texting each other, Happy International Women's Day. It's like, I see you. It's like we're all saying, I see you. I see your power. I see your worth, sister. I see that Lilith within you, and together we rise, right? Ooh, I just got chills. Totally feeling this. Rachel says, I've been taking accountability for my old patterns and doing what you have said to me. We don't do this anymore. Oof. Oof. Reclaiming my power over my emotions. I'm so glad you brought this up, Rachel, because part of Lilith is also honoring what you have been repressing, what you have been hiding, the ways we want to control because we aren't in our power, right? Trying to control and manipulate things is a sign that we're not feeling fully empowered. So noticing if you're feeling angry, like what are you letting get to you? Are you fully in your power? So good. So good. The strong winds knocked out power here. A different kind of power. Going to watch this later. Hope everyone has a good day. Wow. Hope you stay safe out there, Rose. But Mother Nature is definitely bringing some power too. And I will say, with Lilith squaring the North Node in Taurus, I know here in Northern California, we have some atmospheric rivers coming in. There's supposed to be like a flood watch and a lot of crazy weather all over the place. So, Mother Nature could express her own Lilith over the next week or so as well. Just putting that out there. With the North Node in Taurus, we just talked about this in the past couple of days. But the North Node in Taurus definitely signals changes in the physical environment. Yes, we're sending you positive vibes, safety for you and your family. Okay, touching on the full moon in Virgo one last time. She made her final little transit through Virgo this morning. We were definitely feeling that full moon energy all day yesterday, as we talked about so much with Court, like such a long episode, but made me so happy. I love chatting with her. And the full moon in Virgo brought up a lot. It brought up a lot for a lot of people, a lot of patterns, maybe some criticism, just a lot of awareness of our emotions, because the Virgo moon is so analytical. It's like, okay, we're very aware of what's going on emotionally. This morning at 5 a.m. Pacific time, so what many of us were waking up under, and I'll just rewind here so we can hopefully see this on the chart. The moon harmonized with Pluto at the anaretic degree at 29 degrees. That's intense. Talk about starting off this International Women's Day on a powerful note. The moon at 29 degrees of Virgo, definitely the fullest expression of feminine energy. Virgo being the divine feminine, being the goddess, being the virgin, right? Harmonizing with Pluto felt like this final purge maybe, or release of whatever came up under the full moon, especially at 29 degrees. If you felt some intense emotions this morning, that was par for the course. But it also felt like a very natural transformation or ease as this was a harmonious angle between the moon and Pluto, allowing what needed to be released, and allowing yourself to be reborn. And there was almost this like excitement at the 29th degree of like, okay, we're ready for the Libra moon. We're ready for the release part of this moon cycle. So if you're feeling that, like, okay, we're really ready for release, we're coming into it. Now is the time. The moon moved into Libra at about 6:45 this morning Pacific time. So she's not making any connections all day. She will form a sextile to Lilith, I believe this evening. Let me see. Yeah, in the next like 8 hours or so. So this evening, she'll form a sextile to Lilith. We'll be feeling Lilith. I usually don't include, angles to Lilith unless they're like conjunctions or squares are really powerful when it comes to the moon. But the moon in Libra, we just get a chance to recalibrate and find our equilibrium because the Libra moon's not making a ton of major connections tonight. That full moon, again, was this very heightened experience. So the Libra moon coming off of it, the waning gibbous moon, is a time of introspection, coming within, finding that internal balance. And Libra being the sign of relationships, when the moon is in Libra, we're nurtured by those relationships. We're nurtured by bouncing our emotions off other people, mirroring our emotions with other people. Like sometimes saying and expressing how we feel with someone can help us better understand what's really going on internally. So we crave peace, but also Libra is a sign of the scales because it represents justice as well. So any injustices, as we talked about with Lilith squaring the North and South node, injustices could we're aware of them. They could kind of anger us. Like if we're noticing there's inequality or injustice or imbalance of power, that could activate Lilith, especially this evening as the moon connects with Lilith. So justice and injustice could be a theme of the day, but remembering, ultimately with the moon in Libra, we crave equilibrium, we crave harmony and balance. So finding that power within, so you are internally balanced and you're not holding or suppressing anything, and you can better relate to other people. Be good to yourself. Yeah, the moon in Libra, finding that balance with what you're putting in your body, with how you're expressing your emotions. I think the Libra moon can also help us not go overboard with this Lilith energy. If you're finding yourself like raging, being like, okay, let's reel it back in a little bit. How can we have a productive outlet for this? How can we sort of keep the peace without sacrificing our authenticity and our own power? Yeah. And I will say Jupiter is coming into a conjunction with Chiron over the weekend too. That's starting to play out. So you can see on our chart, Jupiter and Chiron are within a degree of each other. So wounds are going to be amplified. Injustices, wounding, anything we've been repressing is probably going to be amplified over the next couple of days. Coming back to being the witness, having those outlets, raging on the page. And, what Rachel brought up is so perfect for the energy we're stepping into coming off of this full moon, taking accountability for my patterning, taking accountability for what has been suppressed within me, regardless of if someone else suppressed it. It's my responsibility now to honor my emotions and what's going on in my body, reclaiming our power in all the ways and doing so in a way that feels balanced and helps us come into harmony with ourselves, most importantly, right? Okay, this brings me to our affirmation of the day, which is I lift the women around me. It only seems right on International Women's Day to remind ourselves that it's our job, regardless of how we identify, to lift all humans around us, but specifically lifting other women. I think women for so long have pitted ourselves against each other and seen each other as competition. A lot of that has to do with society and how the world is structured currently. But if we're all in a place, all humans, lifting the people around us, especially women, if we're supporting other women and lifting other women and not seeing each other as competition, that energy is so powerful. There is nothing we can't do as women when we lift each other up. So reminding each other of our power. I see you as powerful. I see you as strong. I see you as this primal force, which is, I'm about to start shuffling, but this is the card on the bottom of the deck. Tap into primal power. And if that doesn't signal Lilith and Leo, I don't know what does. I just had to share that with you all because I just saw that and I'm like, oh, okay. It actually got stuck to the bottom of the box too. So I feel like this card is Lilith coming through, really wanting to share with us, to tap into our primal power. Katie says, my daughter had a really tough time yesterday with the full moon. Just explaining and naming that she was out of sorts, potentially because of the full moon, really helped her calm down. It was tough, but beautiful. I think also, I know you have a lot of Capricorn energy in your house, Katie, and something that has been so helpful for me with all of my earth energy is like, sometimes having logic of like, oh, this is why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling can be super empowering and just like, okay, it's not just me. I'm not just going crazy. And I love that you're already having these conversations with her. Thank you, Nick. As an egalitarian, I wish all the ladies some power towards equality. Yes, it's not just our job. We love the men of the world who are lifting us up too, supporting us. Thank you, Nick. Yes, yes, yes. We appreciate it. We love it. All right, so we're going to pull from the Cosmic Dancer deck today, just tapping into that divine feminine energy, the dancer within. Not that women are just the dancers, but, it feels very feminine and flowy. Yeah, and lots of Scorpio in your house too. That's, a great point too, because, I have my 0-degree Scorpio moon, and astrology really helped me release control over my emotions as well. Just like, sometimes the transits are in control. Right? Okay, let's take a nice deep breath. Envisioning today coming down into the shadowiest, darkest part of ourself, that inner fire, maybe down into your sacral chakra, finding that empowerment. And as we release, breathing it out to the women of the world. Ready? Here we go. Breathing in and release. What do we need to know? Okay. The card that came through is card 8. Practice daily. I think yesterday we got card 8 too, which is interesting. Okay, here's what it says. Some days it's easy to show up and do the work you need to do. Other days you feel less inspired. This must not halt your quest to create momentum for yourself. You are now lovingly guided to honor your values and desires. Commit to methodically moving towards your goals every day. Sometimes small steps, like taking a few moments to meditate, journal, chant, pray, or say affirmations, can help keep your mind and spirit focused on your divine calling and treasured intentions. A daily practice, whether it's dance, yoga, meditation, writing, visual art, academics, athletics, or some other cherished discipline, directs and focuses your energy. Showing up day in and day out to channel your effort and unique personal power towards a specific aim is one of the best ways to anchor scattered energy. It can also alleviate feelings of anxiety, depression, confusion, lethargy, and overwhelm. What's more, when you stick to a commitment by practicing regularly, your confidence will grow. You will notice significant progress when you override your fluctuating moods, feelings, and desires to establish an unwavering commitment to yourself and your goals. And you will learn that just as a climb up a mountain is taken one small step at a time, it's modest but regular action that will get you where you want to be. Lost my spot. Organize and structure your calendar to reflect your values and support you in taking time for your dreams every day. Foster a solid structure that helps you commit to the work you care about. Make a point of setting clear boundaries around your time and let go of responsibilities that no longer feel authentic to you. Practicing for short periods daily rather than for longer chunks of time is exponentially more effective. This way, whether your practicing becomes second nature and alerts your brain to strengthen your relationship to your discipline even while you sleep. Bring the wisdom of daily practice into your body. And then it gives, standing, feet parallel, a few inches apart. Focus your gaze at a point in front of you. Raise your straight arms over your head with palms facing each other. Lock your legs and engage your core. Hold your spine straight as you lift yourself up on your tiptoes. Breathe regularly as you continue to stare straight ahead. If you lose your balance, regain your bearing and raise yourself back up on your toes. Hold this focused and solid balancing posture for 1 to 2 minutes. It's natural for your interest, attention, and energy to wax and wane, but when you foster a non-negotiable habit of faithful daily practice, it will serve as a deep anchor that will keep you grounded, stable, and safe through life's inevitable storms. I love that we got this card because, you know, in applying it to today's forecast, it feels like practicing tapping into our power daily, whether that is through journaling or dance or whatever that looks like for you. But you know, this card talked about not just doing things for other people, doing things for yourself, making that your daily practice to come back home to yourself, noticing, are there desires that I've been repressing? Are there emotions that I've been repressing? And how can my daily practice, an artistic outlet, or just a moment to myself help me get more in tune with those desires so I can claim my power and so I can show up more authentically? Yeah, Corby says, just another reminder to pour back into myself today in a small way. The yoga mat may see me later on. And whatever your daily practice looks like today, maybe trying to connect with Lilith during it, connecting with the Lilith within you, connecting with the power within you. And, you know, it talks about when you do something every day, when you practice regularly, your confidence will grow. Lilith is definitely that confident energy of like, I know what I want. I know what I'm good at. I know what I deserve. I know what my desires are. And that can be a practice, especially for women who have grown up learning and watching the women around us, people pleasing and taking care of everyone else. Maybe your daily practice is that moment to come home to yourself, come home to your own power, and figure out what you really want and what you stand for. Love this for us. Love this card. And I just love that I almost want to find that other card again that was at the bottom of the deck, that Lilith card, or something about our primal power. Yeah, tap into primal power. I just want to show this one more time too, because what a cool visual for Lilith energy. She's like dripping with lava, holding fireballs, and she's just calm through it. She's just like, I know my power. I know I can handle this. Love that for us. All right, everybody. I have got to skedaddle, head out the door, but yeah, both were definitely aligned for us and this energy. Definitely. Like this one was like, hey, you got to show me at least. Yeah. And Katie says, I love that. Very Libra and Lilith in the card. I'm working on releasing insecurity. I feel supported. Beautiful. Yeah. Even this, it's like, it's almost like the scales, you know, the Libra scales, but then this daily practice too. It's like, okay, how can you maintain that inner balance under the Libra moon through those daily practices? And after the full moon in Virgo maybe revealed some patterning to you, this is a great time under the waxing gibbous moon, the introspective moon, to be like, okay, how can I kind of recalibrate my daily patterning to best serve me and to allow my full authenticity and power to come through? Definitely. All right. I hope you all have a beautiful day ahead of you. I will be back tomorrow to chat about the ongoing energy, but I just want to wish you all one final happy International Women's Day. I'm sending each and every one of you so much love and empowerment today. If you are one of my regulars, thank you, thank you, thank you for continuing to show up here for yourselves, for continuing to show up for this community. And if you're new here, welcome. We're so excited to have you. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel so we can keep these videos coming to you for free every weekday. I will see you all tomorrow, but until I see you next, stay empowered and stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.